Hey everyone, and welcome back to Tech News Now. Ready to dive deep. Today it's all about AI and the future of work.
Yeah,
Your future.
buckle up. We're not just talking about robots taking over the drive-thru. This is about how we work, learn, and adapt in a tech-driven world.
So, we need to pay attention. Can't just ignore it.
Well, we are all kind of playing catch-up with AI, but that's why we're here, to break it down, and there's a lot to unpack.
Yeah. Okay, so let's start with, the big question. Are robots coming for our jobs?
It's not quite that simple, although I did see a pretty convincing Roomba doing stand-up the other day. But seriously, AI is going to make some jobs obsolete, that's for sure.
Okay, so, which jobs are we talking about?
Yeah.
And is mine one of them?
Don't panic. It's not so much about specific jobs disappearing. It's more about tasks within jobs becoming automated. So think of it as AI taking over the more repetitive or data-heavy parts of your work.
Like AI being my personal assistant. I can get used to that. But what about the people whose jobs are mostly repetitive tasks?
That's where things get interesting. Experts are saying that we're going to need to adapt and learn new skills. Think less about competing with robots and more about working with them.
Okay, so what kind of skills? Should I be, brushing up on my binary code?
Not necessarily, but it couldn't hurt. One of the big ones is prompt engineering. It's learning how to talk effectively with AI systems. Tell them what you need them to do. Think of it like writing the perfect Google search, but way more advanced.
So I need to become fluent in robot.
It's less about speaking robot and more about understanding how they think. Another big one is data literacy. Data is everywhere these days, right? Data literacy is being able to understand and use that data to make decisions.
Hold on, I'm still back on that robot language thing. Give me an example of this prompt engineering thing. Let's say I want AI to, I don't know, write a killer stand-up routine.
Okay, so imagine you're using an AI writing tool. A vague prompt like write me a funny stand-up routine isn't going to get you very far. But if you give it specific details like write a 5-minute stand-up routine about the struggles of being a tech journalist in the age of AI, and even throw in some personal anecdotes, you'll get way better results.
So, be specific and give it clear instructions. I can handle that. But what about the people who aren't, let's say, digitally inclined? Where do they fit in this AI-powered world?
That's a big question. Even those who aren't directly working with AI will need a basic understanding of how it works and how it's changing their industries. Think of it like knowing how to use the internet. It's become pretty essential for almost every job.
So we're all going to need some level of AI literacy no matter what we do.
Exactly. And this is where the education system, government programs, and even companies themselves will need to step up to provide training and resources.
Okay, so there are definitely challenges ahead. But let's talk about the good stuff for a minute. Bill Gates, for example, is pretty optimistic about the good that AI can do.
He's not alone. There's a lot of excitement about AI's potential to solve some of humanity's biggest problems, from fighting diseases to tackling climate change.
So less robot overlords, more AI superheroes.
Maybe somewhere in between. But it's important to remember that AI is a tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or bad. It's up to us to make sure it's used for good.
So you're saying the future isn't pre-programmed. We still have a say in how this all plays out.
Absolutely. And that's why it's so important to have these conversations, to understand the risks and the possibilities, and to figure out how to create an AI-powered future that benefits everyone.
That sounds like a perfect place to pause.
You know, it's kind of fascinating how this whole conversation about AI's potential boils down to one key question. How do we make sure AI is used ethically and responsibly?
Whoa, hold on. That's a big one. You're saying we need to teach robots right from wrong?
Not exactly, although that's a funny thought. It's more about us humans setting guidelines for how AI is developed and used.
So less about robots going rogue, more about us making sure they don't.
Yeah, exactly. We need to think about things like bias in AI algorithms. If an AI system is trained on biased data, it's going to reflect those biases in its decisions.
Okay, that makes sense. Garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah.
But how do we prevent that? Are we talking robot police monitoring the AI airwaves for bad data?
Well, it's not quite that dramatic, but we do need regulations and oversight. We need to make sure AI systems are transparent so we can understand how they're making decisions, and accountable so there are consequences if things go wrong.
Accountability for robots. That's a new one. So who's responsible if a robot messes up? The programmer, the manufacturer, the robot itself.
It's a tough question, and one that'll keep lawyers busy for a while, but ultimately comes down to humans taking responsibility for the AI systems they create and use.
Okay, so we need to be the ethical guardians of AI. But how do we even start to tackle something this big? It's like trying to herd cats, but digital.
It's definitely a challenge. It'll take collaboration between governments, industry leaders, researchers, and yeah, maybe even comedians.
AI resemble that remark. But seriously, what can, like, regular people do? This feels like such a big, complex issue.
Sometimes the most impactful actions start with simple questions. Like, start by asking yourself, how is AI being used in my industry? What are the benefits and risks? What ethical things need to be addressed?
So it's about awareness, getting informed, and having those conversations, asking the tough questions, even if it's uncomfortable.
Exactly. Like with any new technology, the more we understand it, the better we can shape how it's developed and make sure it's used for good.
I like that. We're not just passengers on this AI roller coaster we can help steer. But let's be real, a lot of people listening are probably still wondering, what does this mean for my job?
That's a valid concern. We can't just ignore the fact that AI is going to disrupt the job market. But disruption doesn't always have to be bad. It can create new opportunities too.
Okay, I'm listening. You're saying there's a silver lining to this robot revolution.
Absolutely. Think about it. The invention of the car put blacksmiths out of business, but it created a whole new industry around cars. AI is similar. As some jobs are automated, new jobs will pop up in areas like AI development, data analysis, AI ethics, and even fields we haven't thought of yet.
So it's less about robots taking our jobs and more about us humans adapting and evolving alongside AI.
Exactly. It's a chance to learn new skills, explore new careers, and maybe even find hidden talents.
Hidden talents, you say.
Hmm.
I've always wanted to be a robot whisperer.
Well, maybe not a whisperer, but someone who understands and can work well with AI. And who knows, maybe robot stand-up comedy will be the next big thing.
Okay, I'm feeling better now. But let's get practical. What are some actual steps people can take to get ready for this AI-powered future?
Well, for starters, embrace lifelong learning. The skills you have now might not be the ones you need tomorrow. Be proactive about upskilling and reskilling.
So back to school. Do we all need AI degrees now?
It doesn't have to be that formal. There are so many online courses, boot camps, workshops, and even free resources. And remember, it's not just about technical skills. The human skills we talked about before, like creativity, critical thinking, emotional intelligence, those are going to be even more important in an AI-driven world.
So we need to be tech savvy and human savvy. That's a lot. But I guess it's good that humans are pretty adaptable. We've been through these tech revolutions before, right?
Right? The printing press, the industrial revolution, the internet, each one brought big changes and we adapted. AI is no different. It's just the next chapter in human history.
Speaking of history, didn't someone say the only constant is change? I guess that's true for the job market too. But enough deep thoughts for now. Welcome back to Tech News Now. Before we went to virtual commercial break, we were talking about AI and the future of work. And you know me, I like to end things on a positive note. So let's talk about how we can not just survive, but thrive in this AI world.
I like that energy. It's not about being afraid of AI, it's about using it to our advantage. Think of it like a tool that helps us work smarter, not harder.
Okay, so how do we do that? Do we need to go back to school, get a PhD in algorithms, start speaking Python?
It's not that scary. One of the best things you can do is just start messing around with AI tools. There are tons of free and cheap ones out there. Writing assistants, image generators, even things that write code for you.
So like just playing around with AI is productive. I can get on board with that. Any advice on where to start? It's a jungle out there.
It can be. A good place to start is to look at tools that fit with your job or what you're interested in. So like if you're a writer, try an AI writing assistant. See if it can help you come up with ideas or write better or even just save you time on things like proofreading.
Saving time. I'm all ears. But what if my job isn't something AI can do?
Oh.
Like, I don't know a dog walker. Robots aren't taking Fido for a walk anytime soon, right?
You'd be surprised. There are actually companies working on robot dog walkers. But even if your job isn't directly affected by AI, understanding how it's changing other industries can help you get ahead.
Stay ahead of the curve, even if there's no robot chasing you down the street. Makes sense.
Okay.
What if you want to take your AI skills to the next level? Like, what can you actually do?
You could take online courses or workshops. There are so many good ones out there. Some are free, some you gotta pay for. They can teach you everything from the basics of AI to more advanced stuff like machine learning and natural language processing.
Machine learning, natural language processing. Sounds kind of complicated. Do we really need to get that technical?
Yeah,
Can't I just stick to using AI to write my grocery list?
you don't need to become a data scientist right away, but understanding these things can help you make better choices about how you use AI. It's like knowing how your car works. You don't need to be a mechanic to drive, but it helps to know the basics.
Okay, I see what you mean. But let's not forget about being human. We've talked about creativity, critical thinking, empathy. How do those fit in with all this AI stuff?
Those skills are going to be more important than ever. AI is great at processing information and doing repetitive tasks, but it can't be creative or intuitive or empathetic. Those are the things that make us human, and that's what will make us valuable.
So we need to be tech savvy and human savvy. Best of both worlds.
Exactly. It's about finding that balance where human creativity and AI work together to create something amazing.
I like that. It's not humans versus robots. It's humans and robots working together to make a better future. Any last words of wisdom as we wrap up this deep dive?
Don't be afraid of what you don't know. AI is still new, and there's so much we're still figuring out. But that's what's exciting. The possibilities are endless.
I couldn't agree more. It's a whole new world out there, folks, and we're all in this together. Stay curious, stay informed, stay ahead of the game. Until next time on Tech News. Now keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those robots in line.